lead us in the prayer, sir.
Dear Father, we just come to you today, thankful, dear Lord, for the blessings of life and all that you do for us each day. I pray that you be in our midst in this meeting. I pray that everything that's done be done according to your will, dear Father, that we would seek your will. Pray, dear Father, that we would all remain calm, that we would keep emotions and feelings to a minimum, dear Father, and just allow you to work within this facility, dear Father, that we would be led of you, make decisions you would be proud of, dear Father. This I pray in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
If y'all will remain standing, Brother Joel Williams will lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to now turn the meeting over, and they will take over from here.
Typically, when asking the chairman and administrator will open the meeting, and I'm just going to let y'all go straight to.
I'm supposed to go to the meeting.
I'm just going to ask y'all to go straight to electing the chairman, and then the chairman will be over the meeting.
That's what we have.
So if we have a nomination for chairman. Oh, before I say that, are y'all going to open the floor to the public?
Yes.
Nomination for chairman?
Mark, I'm supposed to open the meeting.
I don't know how we bet you can if you want to, but I'm just saying, just start the nominations for a chairman.
I know what I'm doing here, okay?
That's not the way it's been done in the past.
Okay.
You're not a chairman and you're not,
I'm chairman until somebody else is elected.
Would y'all mind using the microphone so the audience can, there's a microphone right there?
you can do the meeting any way you want to.
Are the microphones on, Kenny?
Yes, they're on.
Okay, I'm opening the meeting of the Benton County Election Commission, and we're going to have a reorganization tonight. The first thing on our agenda is to elect the chairman. I nominate Debbie Kyle.
I'll second.
It has to be roll call.
Okay. We're going to talk about Russell Rashid.
We can't hear.
Jenny Higgins, yes. Debbie Kyle.
Pass.
Okay. 2 yes and 1 pass. Okay, turn the meeting over to you.
We can't hear you out here.
People that speak up.
Not that loud if you're the chairman.
COVID deal.
Okay, can y'all hear me? I talk pretty loud. Is that better? Okay. My name is Debbie Kyle. We're going to introduce ourselves so that y'all know some things about us. I've been a county commissioner for 12 years. I've served on various boards and committees. I'm a citizen of Benton County and I'm a Republican. I feel like that it is my duty to first notify everyone here that as of this afternoon, both of the Democratic representatives that sat on this board have resigned, one of which was just appointed Monday, and what I was told is that they resigned because they had been threatened, harassed, and retaliated against.
Hey, let me say one thing right quick before she finishes her statement. I just came from Jerry Brandon's house, and both of them are replacing amazing people. Russell King, he's a fixture in Benton County, and Cindy Wheatley, everybody knows her. She represents their county well. They were both fired because they wanted to keep me as administrator, and they put on the two that she's talking about 3 days ago. And they weren't threatened. I just went and talked to Jerry. I don't know if he's going to be here or not, but that's not true. Jerry Brandon said that they just didn't want to get involved in this because all the pressure in Benton County of everybody wanting to keep me as administrator, and they've had so many calls that they've not even been able to live their life since they've been appointed. And they don't want that to be going on. And I appreciate Debbie letting me speak about that.
You're welcome. I'm just telling what was relayed to me this afternoon about 3 o'clock. So right now, there are no representatives from the Democratic Party that sit on this committee. And the law says that the chairman has to be the majority of the members that sit on this board. The secretary has to be a minority member. So what we had planned for tonight was to elect a chair and a secretary in order to take the minutes of the meeting. Because we don't have a secretary, we've asked Mr. Ragsdale if he would take the minutes of the meeting. Now, I understand that this is not going to be broadcast live, and I think that we need to have it recorded and broadcast so that we have a record, since we do not have an official secretary of the minority party. So I would entertain a motion. Scott came and approached us and said that we would need to make a motion if we wanted this broadcast. So I will entertain a motion if that is what this board chooses to do.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Mr. Ragsdale,
Yes.
Jenny Pickens, yes. Eddie Capel.
Yes. We are new at this. I understand that there are people that feel like we were illegally appointed to this board. I was not illegally appointed to this board, nor was any member on this board. The members were not fired. Their terms expired. As a Republican, I believe in term limits on all boards and committees. Everyone that has served on this board: Ben Thompson, Jim Austin, Susan Roth, Russell King, and Cindy Wheatley. I respect each one of them. And they have done an excellent job, and I appreciate their service. So I'm just here to do the right thing. And I appreciate it, okay? Does anybody else want to introduce themselves?
I'm Russell Ragsdale. Lived in this county most of my life, 58 years old, so that's been a while. Somebody from the state called me and asked me if I would be interested in serving on this commission. And, as a pastor, I don't get involved too much in politics because it's contradictory sometimes to my congregation, because I have both Republicans and Democrats in my church. And I thought, well, this is something I could do, because we're supposed to keep politics out of this commission. This is not supposed to be about politics. And since I've taken over, or got involved with it, I found it's all about politics. And, I'm going to tell you, I've had a lot of people call me. A lot of people ask me what I was going to do and encourage me to vote one way or the other. And I tell you what I've told every person. I'm going to vote according to what evidence I see and what I feel like the Lord would have me to vote. I wouldn't fire somebody based on politics, nor will I keep them based on politics. I ran a store for a long time. You don't fire people because you don't like them. But at the same time, you don't keep people because you do. You have to go with what the evidence is, and that's what I plan to do. Has been accusations that we were placed on this board by promising to vote against Mark. I can't speak for these ladies, but no one ever asked me to vote against anybody. Whenever that they said, "Would you serve?" I just thought, okay, that's a good idea and a good chance to participate in the process. But nobody asked me to vote against or for anybody.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yeah.
Who asked you to sit on this board? Mr. Lashley?
No, I've never spoken to Brett Lashley in my entire life. He was a year behind me in school.
You say you never spoke to him, okay.
He was a year behind me in school. We traveled in different circles, and I've never talked to him in my entire life. There was a lady from the state office. Who's the lady that called?
Kathy Summers.
Donna Barrett. Donna Barrett's one that called me.
It's just so everybody knows, Donna Barrett works for Brett Lashley. She's the one that collects the hotel motel tax and delinquent severance tax.
But to be fair and to be clear, she did not call me in the capacity.
No, I'm not insinuating that. I'm just saying, he's really, or whoever asked that question is really asking how your name got submitted. Did it go through the Republican Party of Benton County?
I don't know. Couldn't
That's
tell
what
you.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the question they're asking. Because historically, in every state, in every county in the state of Tennessee, your Democrat Party gives 2 names for the election commission, and your Republican Party gives 3. They want that for a reason. They want local control of your election commission. The local people then that are on that board, they hire an administrator. That's for a reason, so you won't be obligated to someone who's on the ballot. And the way, and I'm trying to explain this the best way I can, the way these 3, and I don't have anything against them, we've been friends my whole life, I've known all of you. I've worked with Janet and Debbie on a bunch of different things, and I'm not saying it against them, I'm saying the process did not go through your local parties to put this board on. So if it goes through your county mayor and your state senator, it's not the process that everyone else uses. If it's going around the process, these people could have undue pressure put on them from Mayor Lashley, from Senator Stevens, since he's the one that calls their appointment. That's all I was saying. We need to stay above board, above reproach. And if it's not the process, I mean, how do y'all feel about the process? Do y'all not feel that we're doing it different than every county in the state for one time, for one reason?
I don't have any clue what the other parties do or other counties do. To me, it's irrelevant because no one asked me to do anything. Ms. Barrett called and asked me, would I serve? I don't have a clue where that the name came from to her, so therefore I don't feel any pressure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying about the way you're going to.
So the process worked as far as that goes. Now, I can't tell you what anything beyond that, but just for myself, there's no pressure. Nobody's asked me to do anything.
For 14 years, I've been involved in the elections. I got involved in 2007 when I became a county commissioner, where you are election commissioner, where you are sitting today. The process was that way in 2007. The Democrats were in control. I was in the minority. And the process has been that way ever since. And it's so you're not obligated. I'm saying what we're doing here today, and y'all are being on this board, it just gives me a bad feeling going forward, not because of you or your personalities or your ethics or anything, just because of the perception that, how many people do you see out here today? The perception that they have of how their election commission is going to be run.
Madam Chair, might be recognized.
I'd like to finish my question before I go into
I may be able to answer some of these questions. I'm State Representative Bruce Griffin.
Okay, Mr. Griffey, I was gonna open the floor to the public. You go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the commission. Let me first say that these commissioners were appropriately selected as far as how the process goes. Process by state law is your county election officials are served 2 years terms. If there's going to be a replacement, the state election commission consults with the 2 highest elected state officials. That would be Senator Stevens and myself. Names were submitted to Senator Stevens, it's my understanding, to Mayor Lashley and Mr. Gary Key. I was informed of the changes that were being proposed, and I was opposed to those because I'd already checked with the county GOP party, Matthew Jones, and the executive committee, and they felt like no changes were necessary. I also checked with the former election commission members and asked them how things were going and operated, whether any changes were necessary. I also consulted with Mark Ward, and everybody gave glowing remarks to Mark Ward and how the process was working. So changes were submitted. Senator Stevens submitted the 3 names. I opposed those. Jimmy Wallace was the West Tennessee State Election Commission members who normally handles matters for West Tennessee. The 2 previous years, he always told me that unless the state senator and the state representative agree, the state election commission is not going to make any changes. Well, I understood because I opposed, and I contacted Senator Stevens and told him I respectfully was opposed to any changes, that I felt like that nothing would change. What happened was when we got to the state election commission, Jimmy Wallace had recused himself from the matter. because he felt like things were too controversial, so he deferred to Ms. Barrett. Ms. Barrett is on the state election commission, but she also does contract work for the county. At the state election commission, I raised this issue, and Mr. Peters did as well, that we felt like that was a conflict of interest, and that she should not be submitting the names or considering the votes because she had a financial interest doing work for the county. And if these were Mayor Lashley's proposed people who were outside the chain, the official chain of GOP authority, because the authority of the GOP in Benton County rests with Matthew Jones, not Mr. Key, and not Mayor Lashley. So respectfully, we oppose that. And so the commission proceeded ahead. And so that's why we have the commissions we do. Because Senator Stevens proposed them, the state election commission considered them, and they decided to go with them. They are your county election commission officials. Now, what this county election commission decides to do regarding their county election administrator, Mark Moore, that's up to you all. I would encourage you all. We all live in this community. We all care about each other. We've all got children that go to school. We work with each other. We see each other at the grocery store. You know, I think we all should stop and think and do the right thing. What's appropriate, what's best for the county, not just for some political maneuver or some posture. So I encourage that. It's my honor and privilege to represent everyone here in Benton County. I deeply appreciate that. I've been the assistant DA here. I love doing that more than anything else, because you guys are a great bunch of folks, and I'm proud to be your state representative. So thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Members.
I want to tell everyone this. If there was anybody, what was put in the paper this week is that we were illegally appointed. I just want to inform everyone here in the audience, anybody that thought that we were illegally appointed, you had 10 days to file in Chancery Court at Tim Burris's office, pay $375, and an injunction would have been issued immediately. I know this because my husband filed an injunction in Chancery Court in 10 days because the county commission violated the law, one of which was approving a commissioner that didn't have 10 votes to sit in the seat. So any individual could have went and filed in Chancery Court in 10 days of us being appointed. I was offended when I read the paper saying that we were illegally appointed, implying that I was dishonest. I have never, since I've been involved in politics, been accused of being dishonest, immoral, or a tyrant, or acting or being led by my nose. Never. I do not compromise my principles for anybody, and I'm not going to be intimidated, harassed, vindicated, or threatened by anyone, no matter what party they're affiliated with. Do you realize that the public outcry on social media saying there's going to be a blowout in the courthouse, an explosion, calling out for everyone to come, bring your lawn chairs? I want you to look at how many deputies that we have here, how many state troopers that we have here, because of retaliation and threatening and wanting to harass this process. So much that we have 2 Democrats that resigned, and 2 Democrats that I was looking forward to working with as a team. The cost to the taxpayers locally and statewide for this, the reorganization of the state election commission, is ridiculous. I'm going to open the floor to the public. I just ask that let's try and be respectful. I would ask that you come up, you tell me your name and what district you live in. If y'all want to limit it to 5 minutes, that's fine.
I'll make a motion to go to each person 5 minutes. That's what I have to do.
Oh, say what? I say? Oh, you're you're calling the roll, never mind. Yes, yes, I made the motion, yes, I'm sorry, I'm writing.
Sandy, yes, Debbie Cow.
Yes.
Madam Chairman, may I be recognized?
Absolutely.
Matt Jones, Benton County Chairman. The way Bruce relayed that information is correct. We were, I don't want to get too focused on the past, but we were happy with our existing election commission. I felt like they did a great job. But now that we're here, you are the legitimately, legally appointed election commission, and I acknowledge that. It's a little bit different from our precedent. It's not illegal. So you are the election commissioners. The focus tonight, for my part, is what the future is for our administrator. And I know that there's probably some accusations, or I don't know what has come down from the state level. But I would caution you, and I don't want to be presumptuous, but we have demonstration just a little bit south of us down in Georgia of a Republican Secretary of State, Administrator of Elections, who failed their duty miserably. And all that happened under the control of the Republican Party. So we are currently under some of the same influences here in Tennessee. They're trying to take over one state at a time. I do not have any confidence in our administrator of elections at the state level, coordinator of elections, Mark Owens. I don't have any specific allegations, but I see things like a coordinated attempt to remove administrators throughout the state of Tennessee. There's been several instances where he has put his thumb on the scales, and he has no authority to do that. And I'm not saying what your motives are or what your plans are, but I'm saying be careful. We have globalist money coming into this state. We have people trying to control election systems throughout the country. And it's not always going to be what it seems on the surface. Mark has been a voice for election integrity that, even though he's not on the state election commission, he's been involved with Tokyo. I think you were elected chairman. Is that correct?
Of West Tennessee. I've been on the board of West Tennessee Park.
So that's the Association of Election Administrators.
It's all the Tennessee election officials,
Okay.
about 800 members.
And we were one of the first counties in the state, I believe, to go to paper ballots. I was working with Mark at the time. I attended a state election commission meeting actually about late 2008, early 2009, before Mark took over. We had a conversation after the meeting with Jimmy Wallace, who's still on the election commission. Mark brought up the fact that election equipment could be hacked. And I remember specifically Jimmy Wallace said that was a conspiracy theory. So our election commission at the state level cannot control the system without accountability. I urge you to take the time to examine whatever the state has presented to you and understand you may not be able to count on it to be the truth. Mark has done a fantastic job. He stood up against actions of the state that were designed to centralize power and centralize our information. He's resisted the calls for election machines that can be connected and manipulated throughout the election, like we've seen in all this mess that happened last year. So I just strongly encourage you, let's focus on what we do right now. Be careful, the state election commission cannot be trusted, in my opinion. And I believe we have confidence in Mark Ward to keep doing his job right.
Matthew, can I ask you, what district are you from? Do you mind me asking?
I'm in 5th District.
Fifth district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
I rise as a former commissioner. I'm one of the commissioners who was not renewed, and it's not really significant. I understand politics. My name is Ben Thompson. I agree entirely with what Matt Jones has said, and I appreciate our state representative. He has a clear understanding and a elucidates the situation very well. I think the important thing is to recognize that a couple of names have been mentioned as people who were instrumental in this tonight. Brett Lashley is one of them. I don't see him here tonight. John Stevens is one. I don't see him here tonight. Mark Goins is one. I don't see him here tonight. I do see Gary Key. At least Gary is man enough to be here. Okay? I don't agree with his decisions, but he's here. And that's important, to be a stand-up guy. Our mayor was a stand-up guy to be here, to answer some questions, to make some comments, but he's not. I think what the travesty would be, if you'll just stop and think, all the things that you've heard said about the election process in Benton County has been glowing approval. All the people at the table, everybody has said that the election process here has been handled in an excellent, a nonpartisan, and a fair-minded way. That is a precious commodity, and Mark Ward is central to that. And to remove him from his place would be a travesty. He knows the history of this. He understands the pressure. Ms. Kyle, Ms. Higdon, Mr. Ragsdale, I beseech you to give careful consideration before you just haphazardly toss this man and his experience away. He is an incredible benefit to Benton County. And I think we could have hundreds, we could have thousands of people attest to that. So it would be wrong to take him out of his place. I do think what has been done, which is wrong, is I see former Commissioner Austin, and I see former Commissioner Roth, and we have two Democrats, former Commissioner Russell King and Cindy Wheatley, who have been treated really shabbily through this process. I don't know if there's a better way to handle it, Mr. Key, but I don't think we should treat people that way. When it's been attributed to them that they were part of a process that was excellent, to see them sort of slapped down, it's not good. And I appreciate you listening to me, and I appreciate the process. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Johnson. I work in the office right across the hall from Mr. Ward. I believe he come in as the administrator in 2009. I've been there since 2007. So I've got to witness his day-to-day probably more than anybody in this room. And I have personally witnessed how nonpartisan this man is. Telling people, correcting people, I can't talk about that. That can't be talked about here. Let me just tell y'all, it's not like Mark and I are friends. There's many days I walked out of that building aggravated with him over some silly something.
Coffee machine.
Okay, we've had rounds. I'm not here as a friend of his. I'm here because I've witnessed the job this man has done for 12 years. And what's right is right and wrong is wrong. And I'm simply here to support someone that has done an excellent job. And one of the most telling things is in this past election, one of the most important presidential elections we have ever had. Okay, this past November. I've never seen lines as long as we had down at that election office during early voting. Out the door to the street, down to the corner at the stop sign, down the side of the building, right behind my desk and right behind my seat. And I would see how far. And I would time them. The longest I've seen it take anybody to get through that line, 17 minutes. Now, how often did we hear on the news, not just throughout the state, but throughout the nation? Oh, I was there for hours. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours to get through. 17 minutes is the longest I believe it took anyone to get through the line here in Denton County. Again, it's not like we're friends, we're buddies. I mean, we're acquaintances, and we work across the hall from one another. But I have seen day to day the difference this man has made down there. And I do, as a citizen of this county, a taxpayer, more importantly, someone that votes. I think it'll be a travesty not to have him as the election administrator.
Amen.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, can I ask what district are you from? I didn't hear that.
First district, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Thompson?
I said Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, okay, first district, sorry.
Thank you.
Randy Shannon, I'm from the 3rd District. A few years ago, I ran for mayor in this past election. I probably didn't win that race because I stand here as your mayor. But I lost by a very slim minority of 31 votes. And there's a reason that I didn't contest that election. That's a thin margin, probably the thinnest in that race's history. It's because of this man right here and the integrity that I know he brings to the office. He's a godly man, he's a family man, he's a virtuous man. And put him out of office because of some silly politics is a disgrace and should never be allowed in a county like Benton County. A county that, just like many of you, I have been born here, lived my life here. And I'm proud to be a Benton County. And I am proud to have Mark Ward as our administrator of election. And like Mr. Johnson said, I don't always agree with Mr. Ward. In fact, he and I had a confrontation long ago when he first got into office. And I looked at that man from that time forward and I said, I'm going to judge you by what you do, buddy. And guess what I found? Just what I said. A man of virtue, integrity, and honor. You would do wrong to vote against him. You would do wrong. Thank you.
Mr. Shannon,
I'm not from this county, I'm actually from Henderson County, and I'm here just to make a statement.
can you state your name?
My name is Dan Miller. Y'all don't understand this, but exactly what y'all do, what's happening to Mark tonight happened to me a little less than 2 years ago. January the 6th, 2020, they actually ganged up on me.
He's the previous administrator in
Henderson County for over 10 and a half years. Mark and I just came in on 2009. And the reason I'm bringing that to your attention is because, in my case, I gave my opinion at a state election commission meeting, and Mr. Wallace and Greg Duckett, the Democrat representative from the West, actually called each one of my commissioners, and they told them this: you either fire Dan, or we're going to make sure you never work in elections again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to tell y'all exactly what to do. I'm not. I can tell you I know Mark. For over 10 years we've worked together. For over 10 years I called Mark when I've had a question, and we've discussed the matter. Why? Because Mark, I know Mark's integrity. I know what Mark does for a living. I know what his work habits are. I know who he is. And so therefore, I come in support of him simply because, listen, if there's a guy in the state I'm going to call, it's only about 4 or 5 of them, and we got 95 counties, and Mark's one of those. Because you know why? Because he knows his business. Now, listen, what you're looking for in an administrator is somebody that's going to put on fair and honest elections. That's it. And I think these people here can tell you fair and honest elections have been happening in Benton County for over 10 years. So I just ask that you really think hard about this decision. Because, honestly, in my case, it was just done wrong. Mr. Goldman has even said things about me that are just ridiculous. My name's been put down and stuff. I mean, this man deserves his opportunity. And I just ask you to think about it from that perspective, because, honestly, that's all we do. I can call many administrators across this state and talk to them. I was the West Tennessee Vice President, been put in that last June. And I was in charge of all that, and so I was kind of blown away when things happened the way they did. And it's because I just made a statement at a state election commission meeting. Listen, watch it. Mr. Goldens, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Duckett, some of these other ones, they have a motive. Now, I just want you to understand that. But the support for this man are to be there. Because I know he'll be a godly man. I pray with him. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is James Peace. I'm a local businessman and former state representative for this district. I'm amazed that the two main accusers of the best election administrator in the state of Tennessee are not here. One's here, Eric Key, and I commend you for that. But I helped Mark Ward get in this position. I had 3 requirements. 1, you show up for work. Number 2, you run the fishing operation. And number 3, you treat everybody fairly, irregardless of party. He has not disappointed me. If he did, I'd tell him. He knows that.
Yep.
I don't pull any punches. But the reason we're here tonight is because of Mayor Lashley. People are very upset. Talk about blowout. Wait till the next election. You're going to see lots of blowout. People are angry. They're outside. They can't get in there. You talk about, they're really angry now. They're going to be more angry. I'm going to do everything I can to educate the people in this county on what kind of corruption we have. It's time for changes. But I was here before Mark Ward, and we had a very corrupt election commission. It's very important to me that we have honesty and fairness in the election commission. This election commission is so important to everybody. Everybody should have a fair shot. If they don't have a fair shot, that's terrible. But I want to tell you one thing. I'll do everything within my power, as long as the good Lord lets me, to try to help Benton County. We have a mayor that's never done anything for Benton County. He's from somewhere else. He's absent tonight. He's obviously a coward. Can you believe that? The county mayor is not an important function with hundreds of people here. It's unbelievable. Senator John Stevens, he's the one submitted the names. He's not here. Unbelievable. These people need to go. And the people of Benton County are ready to send them home.
I'm Ward Plant, Commissioner of 1st District. What brings me here tonight is not really to do with politics. I really didn't know what was going on in this movement. I really did not. But what I did not like is when I stay away from Facebook other than commenting on something of amen or whatnot to the good stuff that I see. But when I picked the paper up, and Mark, it shocked me more than anything because I was probably here in your support. And I'm not saying I'm going to get you at this time, but I will tell you, I don't like my name be brought. I have never, in the time of my life, I served 7 years there in the United States 21st Airborne, serving this country. And I'm not going to start a line when you accuse me in the paper. This is in the paper. I read it one time.
Wait just a second. I didn't accuse you of anything in the paper. I stated a fact of what you and Mr. Lashley asked me.
You stated the fact that I asked you to hold back the election, and you told a damn lie for
No.
I'm so long. I never done it, Mark.
You and Mr. Lashley both asked
You
me.
should have carried me to jail if I'd done so. That's what I would have done.
We didn't break the law because I didn't act on your request.
I didn't ask you to. Now, how you understood it, that's what
I'm
I
not here to fight
understand
about
people.
it. It's a fact.
I represent all these people right here as the 1st District. And I don't have no fears with nobody. What I do is by God and my feelings and by your fault. I never intentionally had this man say I tried to alter any of that. I really didn't understand how it worked. I don't understand what this Republican Party is. I've had a family. I've lived in this county. I'm 66-year-old turning this June. I have never defaulted my seat or the election. And never will I ever ask you to go against it. I just want that understood. I come here not against you or for you.
I didn't say anything.
I come here to clear my name. He put it in the paper. I never put nothing in the paper on Facebook, oppose nobody. Mr. James had my name in there. It was following him. I called him 2 weeks ago and he done what I asked. He took my name off because I don't do that. I do not put my name to where I think it fears or hurts somebody or whatnot. And I'm just here, not opposing you, Mark, but you were wrong when you put my name in the paper.
No.
But I'm telling you.
If you're gonna say something to me, you're gonna own it.
Well, Mark, that's
just the way that's the way I've always been.
Would you like me to tell everything what went on in there? You remember about the Christian? You're not a Christian?
No, I said I wasn't a Christian.
Did you say that?
I said I wasn't a Christian like you and Brett Lashley are.
No, you just
and
said,
I never
you
want
said
to be.
I'm not your Christian. I don't
No, I said I'm not like you two
but I'm
guys.
just telling you, y'all probably never heard of it. I started calling James and I was shocked. In fact, I told several commissioners out there what went on. But I'm here to say, I defend my name. I never asked you to go to the rig election.
Politics of the past is the reason I'm in this
It
office.
was.
Now, wait, let me say something.
But why are you still putting it
No, wait a
in the paper,
second.
Mark?
The politics of the past, when certain people in this county would come and put their finger in my chest and tell me what I'm going to do and how I'm going to vote.
Well, I've never done that. Have I done that?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I felt that same way in that office that day when y'all was telling me I wasn't going to put that on the ballot. Y'all wanted to keep those 2 commissioners that you appointed, and you told me do not put it on the ballot.
There's a law of everything.
You said don't put it on the ballot. Let my appointments
And
run.
you're telling a story. I never
That's
told
what you
that.
said. You
I
and Brett
never told
both.
you that.
You and Brett both.
We never
If you're
said
gonna
that.
say something
now,
to me-
you may say, Brent, I'm here defending my word. I never said that, and so
Well,
help me God, I never said that.
that same
and
conversation,
You up,
you-
but I don't lie, and I'm not going to do
You
that.
remember
know
part of
that.
the conversation, but you don't remember that,
Mark, I
huh?
don't have nothing against what you've done. I thought you run a good election. But don't accuse me and put my name, fool's name, fool's faces shows up in public places.
I'm not
That's what
accusing.
I told
I'm
you
not
before.
accusing you. I just told what was said.
Well, you shouldn't have done that. I mean, why do we take this name and that name? As I come and got this, you don't do things like that. Not to be in the public.
Well, don't come and ask me to do things if you
I
don't
didn't
want
come,
people
you
to know it.
come to his office. That's another thing. He walked in there, we had no thought or talk of anything. He come to our, and what you did ask me was to tell them they've got to run. And my word with you, Mark, I'm not telling them nothing. That is not my seat. You go tell them what they got to do. And that's what made you mad. Because
No,
I said,
it
I'm
made
not
me
telling
mad.
them. And I did not tell them.
I do my job. I put it in the paper and everything, let people
You
know.
keep my name,
I just
I'll
said,
sue you somehow when you put me in that paper, my name, because it ain't the end of it.
You remember
If
how-
you put my name for Paul saying we're gonna see each other, I tend my business 1-to-1.
you remember when I was talking about how you pointed your finger at me and told me what I was going to
I
do?
pointed just at it, but I didn't mean it, didn't Fred. You pointed at me. You said you
Just
wanted
saying.
nothing but what you wanted. You didn't give a damn about nobody. It's your word.
No, I didn't say
I
that.
want what I want. I don't
No.
care what that's what you told us in the word.
No.
The word. Anyway, I'm sorry to say that, Mark. I hate you had to come there.
Whatever.
I asked that I clear up my name when it's in the paper to do that.
You
and
did
that's what
a
I-
good job doing that tonight.
Well, I'm just telling you, I didn't say it. So help me God, I didn't. I did not tell you to go there to administrate some kind of paper. That's a false statement toward my integrity. I don't like it.
Okay, I just want to,
Excuse me, never had a chance to finish asking no questions. In the brochure.
okay, is there somebody, else that, wants to speak?
I would like to. My name is Susan Roth, 4th District. I am an ex-commissioner, ex-election commissioner, and I worked with Mark for 8 or 10 years. He's probably the most honest man I've ever met. He's run every election by the law. He's fair to everybody. He's always impartial. He does a wonderful job. You will never find another man to do the job that Mark Moore does. Ever. There isn't anybody that can do a better job than Mark. Everybody I know likes Mark. Everybody thinks he's fair. I ask you to do the right thing, to keep Mark is our election coordinator. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Okay, I want to just say something. I was not aware until Mr. Peach brought it up. Are there people outside that are wanting to speak?
Of course.
There's hundreds of people outside.
Okay.
They're not allowed in.
Okay, because of COVID, correct?
No, because there was a limit on the number of people that you can.
Because of COVID. I would like to ask, I'm not going to violate anybody's constitutional rights. I would like to ask, for those that have already spoken, would you consider leaving and allowing anyone else that is out there to come in and speak?
Yes, I will.
I will.
I mean, anyone that's spoken, I'm not asking the people that are here, but I just feel like that this is the only.
Appreciate it. All right, man. Good to see you.
What's going on with it?
That's my sister.
I put 30 minutes on
That's the one that's going out. That's not including the work.
Do you have time?
I can have,
If you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
How many?
However many left. Now, I would like just the ones that are wanting to speak.
Anybody that's wanting to speak?
Ma'am, if you would like to speak.
And folks, as you come in, wear your mask when you go to the podium, as you come in, do that, help protect everybody as much as possible.
As you come in, come on up to the podium to speak. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Richard Hanna.
Richard Hanna.
Yep, Susan Roth, just my sister. And I wasn't born
What district?
Fourth.
I have no idea.
You're in the fourth.
This one, you're in the fourth. Holiday. Fourth.
Oh, you're in Holiday?
Holiday, that's the first, that's the first. Yeah, I wasn't born here, I was born in Ohio and moved to Florida, and I moved here about 10 years ago. And I did do one small stint with the holiday school, one election. And then we discovered there was a problem because my sister was one of the commissioners, and that's not allowed. But anyway, no, it's okay. I think that the one fellow that was up here before kind of hit the nail on the head. Most everything that's gone on for the last few years is not about what they say it's about control. They want to control everything. And it's not just the Democrats that want to control everything. It's also the Republicans, the Uniparty. They want to control everything there is to control. And I know some of you won't believe that. That's too bad, because we all know, most of us know it's true. And that's what this is about. Mark's got a disease that the Uniparty can't stand. It's called integrity. He can't be pushed around, he can't be bullied, and he can't be bought. They can't handle that. They can't tolerate it. Otherwise, they won't have any control. So he's a good man, and he deserves to be where he is, and he's done a great job. I wish somebody would explain to me why they want to get rid of him. There has to be a reason.
Mr. Hanna, this committee, our purpose tonight was to elect officers, open the floor to the public, and adjourn.
Yes, ma'am.
I have no idea where this rumor started, how it started, and who fueled the fire.
I can relate a message from that rumor.
Okay.
Brett actually told me himself that he was going to change the election commission to get rid of me, and he was going to take over the Republican Party and get rid of the a-holes that are on the board. He told me that straight to my face. That's where that rumor started.
That's the rumor I heard as well.
Only problem is, he didn't tell any of us, so it's.
He didn't relay that to me, okay? So,
Where's he at?
He's serving in the military right now, it's fine.
It's kind of relevant, because he's on his board, that's the reason.
He's serving in the military right
in the
now. it's
National
fine.
Guard,
Really?
yes, sir.
Worked out good, didn't it? Anyway, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you, Mr. Hannah. Okay, the other ones that just came in, you can come up and speak, the ones that, what I did was, they said there was a crowd gathered that wanted to speak. So I asked the ones that already spoke to go out, so that the ones that did want to speak could come in.
I'll send you somebody to.
So the ones that came in, and then if y'all will go out, and then whoever else is out there that wants to speak, please.
So I've been stuck outside and listening to some of this. I listened to Push the Board, talk about.
So you are. What's your name
I
and what district?
apologize. I'm Dwayne Fowler, I'm the 4th District Commissioner. I'm the one who had the election that replaced Mr. Vickers. What I like to talk about is, rumors come back that my arm was twisted by certain individuals. I decided to run for the 4th District. I have seen awesome results of this man right here. I have lived in the 4th District for the last 30 years. I have voted in every election. Look at what we've got going on. I mean, he works his butt off. I just want to show him support. Brandon, Reagan, we had a pretty tough election between, are you mistaken? I don't think that's an issue, right? And we had a pretty tough thing. There's a lot of bad words said about this one, Rocky Crescent, talking about Mr. Ward Plant. He can't come up here and get on him and talk to him like he did, because I've seen a lot of that stuff. And I just want to tell you, his integrity on that office has been awesome. Whether you don't like Martin personally or anything of that nature, you look at how this has been run. And I know you're going to vote the way you feel, either look how you got this job. Look how the Republican Party is the one that picked individuals that want to keep their people, and all of a sudden, Ms. Barrett comes up and your names are up and you're the ones that replace these people. And you're good people, I'm sure. Russell, I've known you for a long time. David, I've known you a lot of time. You've been inside working on my team before. This evening, I don't know you, but can you not see something that's going on here? I mean, really, why do you want to get rid of something that's only 2 counties in the state and one has followed us? Is that correct? On our election, on having a paper trail? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's an awesome, he has been notarized as one of the best election officials, there is. And I just wanted to state that. I wish I would have been in here to listen to some of the rhetoric going on. Mr. Plant, that was uncalled for. Sure was. But I'm just telling you, lots of people in the 4th District support this man. And I just want to make sure you understand what position and how, and you're good people, I'm sure, but how all of this happened, what's expected of you to do. That's all I have to say.
So what do you think is expected of me to do?
Well, I don't know what you expect to do. I know you've always been a little outspoken in things, but did you go to the Republican Party and ask to be elected for this here? Or did someone take a bunch of names up there and give them to Mr. Stevens?
Okay, all right. I have not been to a GOP meeting, and I was not going to bring this up since last year, or the year before.
Yes, ma'am.
We had a local election in the GOP. I have went to the GOP meetings for years,
And
even
why
when I was
haven't you
on the
been?
commission. Because at the last election that I went to, the husband of the chair was giving out pieces of paper out to people that had never been to a GOP meeting in their life. And it was a list of names of the officers to be elected in the GOP. There was a man and a woman sitting directly from me, across from me, that had only lived here 2 weeks. There were several people there that said that Mr. Peach had called their mothers and told them to be there. I asked the man and the woman, I said, where are you from? Ohio, we've been here 2 weeks. Mr. Peach asked us to come. He said, I don't know any of these people here. I said, what is that? He said, there's a man in the parking lot giving out pieces of paper and saying that these are who the GOP want to elect as their officers. I said, I didn't see any man in the parking lot. He said, he's right out there. I said, can I see that piece of paper? And it was a list of names of the people that the GOP wanted to elect as their officers. I went out in the parking lot and asked the man, Mr. Dan Edwards, if I could have a piece of paper. And he told me I didn't need one. Okay? And I objected to that being done. Okay? And I informed this guy that was at the state Republican Party I would not be back because I do not believe in rigging elections. That's why I haven't been back.
Hold on just a second.
I don't believe in passing out a piece of paper or telling people to vote for.
Please. You're accusing somebody of rigging an election. That's a terminology that everybody understands. But when you're on a ballot for an election, even if it's just for a group, you don't think you would campaign? It's against the rules. You're saying it's a rigged election because these people campaigned that they wanted to be on the position?
No, I say that it was a rigged election because of the simple fact pieces of paper were given out to GOP members, but I was excluded who had been coming to the GOP.
I don't know about that, but I'm saying that how is it rigged if the people that was on the ballot was campaigning?
It wasn't a ballot, it was a piece of paper that was slid, given to people that had never been to a GOP meeting before.
So somebody was just like at the election commission when Senator Stevens puts his people in the parking lot and hands out his stuff as they're coming in to vote. You're saying it's different than that?
So how did you ask that you want to be in this position? Did you ask to be in this position?
No, I didn't ask to be in this position, but I said that I would be willing to serve if the opening became available and the terms had expired on the previous members.
Is that what you think? Is that what you didn't see to do?
I was asked by the state if I would serve.
Do what now?
I was asked by the state if I would serve.
Russell, do you mind if I ask how you were?
Same thing. I was called from the state and asked would I be willing to serve.
All right, but anyways, here we are. We've got an awesome system. It looks what it is. I just hope you see that Benton County has a great election official that's running an awesome office. Whether you hold a grudge against the Republican Party for something that's happened to you that you think is bad, you got to look what's best, what's going on, and how our elections have run here in Benton County, how good they are. So there you go. Thank you.
Folks, I'm gonna make a suggestion, and if it don't work, I'll make a motion if I have to. Let's keep the remarks pertaining to business at hand and this committee and so forth. I don't want to hear everything to do with the rest of the county and all the other politicians. Let's keep our remarks about this commission and about what we're doing here, okay? And if everybody can't do that, I'll make a motion to that effect that we have to do that. And I'm not trying to be mean, but this is just about here, it's not everything else. Go ahead, sir, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just short-tempered on stuff like that. There's no reason to talk about everything else.
I agree. My name is Don Myers. I'm in the 1st District. A little bit of history. I have served several boards with the county. I served with the TRRD board. I served with the Benton County Audit Committee. And I've worked with Mark for several years on the Election Commission. This past year I had to pass on it because of some health problems. But here's what I can say. I had several jobs during my tenure with the Election Commission, monitoring up the 1st District when I first started for several years. And then I ended up as machine technician, I think was my official title, which meant I put out the voting machines and then picked them up and brought them back in when the election was over. Now I can say this. I had nothing to do with counting the votes. My job was to make sure the machines got back there safely. Honestly, I'm a Republican. We had a Democratic member. Usually I was driving. We would go to the 3 different precincts, pick the machines up, and bring them back. When we brought them back, the commission that was there, the members were all very honest about everything. Mark, everything was run perfect. I said to myself, this is what the American voting system should be like. And that's something that went on every time that we came back. I can't imagine anybody wanting to get rid of somebody that's doing the job the right way. It just absolutely makes no sense to have somebody that's doing the job, doing it right, knows the job, brought the system in, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reasons, this may be getting on your territory a little bit, but your problem, Ms. Kyle, with the Benton County Republican Party has nothing to do with what's supposed to be going on here. I don't even know why that came up. My main,
It came up because I was asked why I didn't go to a GOP meeting.
okay, but that, you're here now, somebody appointed you, or somebody asked you to take it, I don't know how. I tried to get some information out of Senator Stevens' office. First of all, they never did return my call. When I called again, they finally, his legislative assistant got on the phone, and I can't say he was much help. Anyway, Mark has done a great job. I know personally, I've seen him for probably 15 years, and I can't imagine there'd be any good reason that you'd want to replace him. Thank you.
John Smotherman. I've been a neighbor to this man for 20 years. I know his entire family, and I cannot imagine for 1 second anyone that has kids and grandkids, and they would want to see our county act like where we are, to get rid of a man that's doing. If our founding fathers were sitting here and they know Mark Ward as I know, I think they would hold him in the highest regard. It's beyond me how you can treat this man the way he is, and when he's an example for your kids and an example for your grandkids. And I'll guarantee you, I've been next to him for 20 years, and they've been nothing but a perfect model. I don't know. You may replace him, but I'll guarantee you, you're going down. You're not going up.
Thank you.
Rochelle Hill, 5th District County Commissioner. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, because I think both parties are very fundamentally flawed. I'm an independent, but I have great respect for both parties in this county. And I just want to make a few comments. First, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's an old adage, but it's a true adage. Second, the truth will always out. I believe all of you are here for the right reasons, but for what we say and what we do, there are always consequences, some good, some bad. If someone has done things wrong, there are going to be consequences. So I just wanted to let you know that the county is watching. People are not happy. And if someone has done something wrong, there will be a consequence and the truth will come out. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, are there others that are outside willing to speak?
Yes.
And if there are, could I ask the ones that have spoken to rotate out, please? Sir, you can come on up.
I'm Dr. Arthur W. Carpenter. I do not live in Benton County. I come here for the Republican Party meetings upon occasion. I try to pay attention to what's going on in the state of Tennessee. I helped run the largest internet tea party group in America, which was based out of Franklin and Nashville. The two other guys, I paid attention to what's going on. I'm a reasonably smart fellow. I was a theoretical nuclear physicist who was told he was the top person in the country they wanted to hire out of Los Alamos 40 years ago when I came here to teach soldiers at Fort Campbell. And I'm very proud of what I did, work with men and women who risked their lives to keep us free. And quite frankly, our voting system is fundamental to our country and our freedoms for our kids and grandkids. At my age, my kids and grandkids and your grandkids mean more to me than I do. And what you heard here from the people in front of you, I'm sure for the last hour or something, Mark's done a great job. And what I know about him instituting the voting system that you have here, it's an envy of America. Paper ballots, so you can have an audit trail, find out who voted for what, and who's cheating and who's not. Free and fair elections are the fundamental thing of America. Right now I'm part of a group, the 917 Society, 9-month, 17th day of 1787 is when we ratified our U.S. Constitution. And we were invited to Mar-a-Lago 11 days ago, on Saturday or whatever, how many days ago that was, for a fundraiser. We gave every 8th grader in the state of Tennessee, for years in a row now, a copy of the Constitution. We branched out to Kentucky, we branched out to North Dakota, the AMVETs help us up there. This year we're going to have 14 or 15 states that we're giving U.S. constitutions to, so that, and along with curricular materials, so that the teachers can end up telling them what their rights and freedoms are, so they know what's being lost right now. If we can vote for people and have our vote counted, it'll be different than what's happened in the recent past. If you're paying attention to what's going on, you're seeing that corruption is boiling over. Mark's going to make sure that he does the best job possible and that your vote counts. What more do you want? An honest man. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody that came in last that is here to speak?
My name's Adam Reed. I'm not a big name in society. I'm just a common citizen. But I and we are the ones y'all ultimately answer to, not Brett Lashley. And you need to listen to the people. I would venture to say you probably have had very few come out to speak against Mark Ward. Look out in the parking lot. There's no signs against Mark Ward. They're all pro Mark Ward. So you need to do your jobs, and you need to vote in the person we want, and we want Mark Ward. No matter how this turns out, I appreciate what you've done. I appreciate the hell you're going through right now. You don't deserve it. And when you need help, you can call on me, sir.
Could you tell me what district you're from, please, Mr. Reed? What district do you live in?
I don't remember. South end of town?
Holiday?
No, 69 South.
Okay, thank you.
He can tell you because he knows it's really good first. Because he's good at his job. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else that came in that wanted to speak? Okay, is there more people that want to speak out there? I really want anybody that's out there that wants to speak, I would ask if you're not willing to speak to please rotate out and let them come in.
Can I write this on?
Yeah, absolutely.
My name is Bertlin Mansfield. I have been a teacher for 42 years. I have retired since 2019. Normally, I don't do things like this. But this young man, he's young to me because I've known him all his life, is an exceptional person in being a life. And why, I just don't even understand why you would want to not let him continue the wonderful job that he has done. It's just beyond me. When you have someone that's doing a great job and doing it correctly and fairly, you continue to let them do it. You don't let politics
intervene. That's ridiculous. He is a wonderful person doing a great job. And just go out and look and you'll see how the folks in Benton County love him. And like I said, I don't do things like this. But this is wrong, people. This is wrong. And you need to think about it before you make this decision. He is a great person, a wonderful public servant. And you need to keep him right where he is. And thank you, Mark. Thank you for all you do. For all the citizens of Benton County. For families that people don't even know about. You need to think about this. There's a right and a wrong. And people, what you do is wrong. I pray for you, Mark, and I'm so sorry
Thank you.
that you're having to go through this. And that's all I have to say. Thank
Can you tell me what district you are, Ms. Mason? Thank you.
Is that correct?
I'm sorry, what was your first name?
My name is Bert Lynn Mansfield. I'm Miss Bert. To all who know me, and I've had a lot of your kids, and loved every one of them. And I love Mark. Thank you.
We all do.
Okay, could I ask, are there more people out there to speak?
There's not.
There's not any. Yes, sir, you can come on up.
My name is Bob Myers. I live on Palmer Road.
What district is
I'm
that?
fairly,
What district is that,
I
sir?
don't know, what is it for? We're new here, we haven't been here too long. I want to say about one short paragraph, and I have to admit and apologize that it is not my words. These are not my words. They are words from a man much wiser than me, and a man who spoke for God. And because of that, I believe everyone in this room has a responsibility to hear what I believe is a message from God. I want to quote something from the prophet Isaiah. May it reach every heart ear according as your needs are. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service.
Hello. My name is Shay Hargis. I'm from the 2nd District. And I'm probably the youngest person in this room, and I think it's that much more important why I speak today. Because my generation is the future of this country, of the state, and of this county. And I personally feel that my voice and my beliefs are threatened and not heard. And I believe that it's important that Mr. Mark Ward remains in office to make sure that our voices are heard and everyone in this room's voices are heard. And I think it's pretty obvious the support that Mr. Mark has by the people in this room and the hundreds that are outside, and I'm sure hundreds more that would love to be here tonight. So I just ask that you please keep him in office to make sure that everyone's voices are heard.
What can, I didn't get your district. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Thank you, Shay.
Thank you.
My name is Trevor Busby, and I just wanted to say that I support Mark Ward. And I think it's unfair that we're questioning a man's integrity that has done nothing but serve this county. If any integrity needs to be questioned, maybe it's the way that this has all come about. As the young lady spoke before me, I'm a young man in this county, and it's my future And when you get this many people at a county meeting during COVID, and whether that has relevance or not, but that should draw some awareness to the situation that's going on. And I haven't been able to sit in the whole meeting, but I would assume that more has been for Ward than not. So I just implore you to think about the consequences that this will have on our future. Thank you.
Mr. Busby, what district?
I don't know, Big Sandy.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Barry Peterman. I'm from the second district.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Barry Peterman. And just in light of all this going on, if there's an opportunity that I can voice my support for Mr. Ward, I'm going to take that opportunity to do so. He's been nothing but fair on both sides of the election commission. So he does his job, he does it well, and I just want to be able to take this opportunity to tell him what a good job he's doing and be able to voice my opinion on the matter.
Thanks,
Barry.
Is there anyone else? I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to speak.
My name is Debbie Bain, and I live in the second district. And I just want to state that with Mark in the Oldham election office, the people have a voice. If you take away their voice, you take away their life. And we have fair elections now. And my philosophy has always been, if it's not broke, don't fix it. What we have is working. He is not only having the election office run smoothly, but fairly, for the people. For the people, which is something that a lot of places from the government on up to state level and local levels have forgot. That the people are the ones that matter. And Mark cares about the people enough to give us a fair and equal voice. He makes sure that that office runs smoothly for us. We have to remember, this is for us, for our future generations, our children and our grandchildren. If that office gets corrupt, why would people bother to go out and vote? Why would they? Why would a mayor have a say in who is appointed over the election office? It's the people's office. You got to remember that. It is the people's office. This courthouse is the people's office. It's the taxpayers that pay for these buildings. It's the taxpayers that pay the salaries for the people in these buildings. It's the people that matters. And Mark is for the people. Don't mess with something that's not broken. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that's here that wants to speak? Hey, Mr. Arnold.
I'm Keith Arnold. I'm from the first district of Benton County. I've known every one of y'all. Went to school with most of you. Been friends. And Mark's done a good job. You know, elections has got to be fair. People's got to feel like and Mark's run a good office. I have to say that. How many in this room thinks that Joe Biden actually won the election? I mean, I don't. I mean, a lot of people don't think he does because a lot of these states change the rules when they say don't fit their needs. There's a process the way boards get appointed. And we all may not agree with them, but you got to follow the processes. And Mark's done a good job. And I think he needs to stay what he's doing because our elections are important. Our kids has to know that when there's a process, the way things are done, if a board's time to be appointed, then people have a chance to get appointed voters, but not ramrod stuff through as they want them done, just because we have personality conflicts. We all live in Benton County. We all know each other. I mean, I probably cheated off of Debbie in school, More than likely I did. But, you know, we need to listen to what, we don't want to be like these other states where our elections are questioned. And I think that this board's got somebody that makes sure that when somebody goes up there to vote, they know who it is, they've got an ID card, and the elections are run fair. You know, and that's all I have to say, and I appreciate Mark what he does.
Thank you.
I'm Mike Holiday, from the 5th District.
Say again.
Mike Holiday. I went to school, graduated with Mark, known him all my life. He is a decent Christian man. His integrity is unquestionable. I'd like to say the same about the whole process of how you got in your positions. I'm not a man of many words. I'm just going to say that because of the suspicion surrounding your own appointment, if you do what is right, after all the testimony has been given, all the facts have been presented, if you do what's right and remove the doubt about your own appointments, you'll keep this man. Mark?
Anyone else?
I'll rise and speak. Everybody's been pointing at me. Yes. And I will have to say,
Don't point your cane at me.
were you pointing at other people?
No, I said don't point your cane at me.
Okay.
That's
call Mark.
disrespectful.
I want us to.
Did I not try to get you to go into the real estate business with me at an auction one day?
Yes.
Did I have anything against you?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Personally, I do not have anything against Mark. But I was, as they said, the person that instigated this. It wasn't Mayor Lashley who was off, may I ask, say it again, he's off serving our country in the Guard. And they've been accusing him.
He's at a training meeting.
Huh?
He's at a training for this.
Yes.
He was here Monday. Yeah, he wasn't there Monday.
But he is in the Guard now, and he's been crucified because he's not here. I think he's serving our country. And I think that's more important than being here.
He's doing a better job there.
And, you know, but, yeah, did y'all interrupt other people?
Okay.
Then don't interrupt me.
Listen, I would ask that you do not yell out. If you do, and everybody's not given the equal right to speak, I will not hesitate to clear the courtroom immediately.
Can I ask one thing?
Yes.
After everybody else addressed the board, he might want to turn around and address the board instead.
No, there was somebody else that.
Instead of instigating the crowd, pointing his cane and stuff.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
I'm just not going to have this, okay? So please be respectful, please,
Let's
please.
get on topic too, please.
Okay?
Mr. Ward, while we're talking about pointing hands, did you not clench your fist at one of the state supervisors up there?
Absolutely not.
Did he not tell you that he did?
I heard those rumors, but I'm telling you, that meeting's recorded. Before you accuse me of something, go watch the meeting.
I had 2 state officers tell me that.
Have you watched the meeting?
No, I haven't.
It's a straight
But
up lie.
did you not tell her you did?
It's a straight up lie. No, I did not.
Janet, did he tell you that he did?
He stood and showed me how he stood, and he had both his fists drawn.
No, that's an absolute straight
You
up
asked
lie.
me, you said this
That's
is
a
how I
straight up
stand.
No, I said I was standing just like right there at the thing speaking. I don't see how you can construe that I had made a fist. Watch the video. It's
Dave
recorded.
construed at the state meeting that you had made a
No, I
fist.
didn't.
Yes, I did. I had 2 to
Tell
tell
me
me
how
that.
now, since they're trying to get rid of me.
But before that,
They come up with this much stuff today to try to get rid of me. Why would they wait till today? Why hadn't they said something? Why didn't they come up, call me up there and say something to me?
you know, they may do that.
Well, I know after the
And
fact.
why didn't you file charges in the Chancery Court if you thought this was an illegal group?
I didn't say illegal.
Yeah, I think you did too.
It's
Your supporters certainly
No,
have.
we didn't say illegal.
Your supporters certainly have.
I'm telling you, you are putting words in my mouth when she read it. I didn't say anything to her, but it didn't say illegal. It's went around the process. Went around the process. You took the Republican Party and the Democrat Party out of the process.
No.
That's all I said.
You think I can take the Democrat Party out as a Republican official? What? What do y'all think? Do you think that I have got any support whatsoever in the Democrat Party when I am on the Republican State Executive Committee? That's crazy.
Have you spoken to Republican?
No, I have not spoken to him. I don't even know him, and I wouldn't even know him if he walked in the door.
You need to chill out a little bit.
Well, this folks back here need to chill out too. And I will have to say, they say this has not been conducted the way it has been. I have been on the county executive board for 10 years. We have never recommended anybody to anybody. Now, there may have been a senior, there
I
may.
would have to agree with that. Y'all have never done this before.
Okay.
The county parties have always done it. This is the first time that they have recommended somebody to the state.
No. I said the county executive committee. I've been on the county executive committee for 10 years.
No, we've always done it.
No, we haven't. Janet, you were secretary for 4 years.
Just because you don't come to the meetings.
I came to every one before 2 years ago, just like she said.
Always recommended.
We have a former chairman here that I believe can attest
It's
that.
fine.
Debbie?
That's just the way it is.
Did we ever recommend anybody to be on the representatives, or the senator to be on the election commission before? You was there 4 years.
It's always come from the highest, official of our party.
Hey, let me say something to you, Debbie. How did you get on the election commission when you,
I was requested to be on it.
by this local party? That's what, he's mixing terms, but the local party appointed you.
Right,
Even when you was on the
because
school.
our local party was the highest.
We were.
And that's what I said in the paper.
At that time.
But at that time, we didn't have a state rep or state senator that was Republican, and the party gave it directly to the state executive committee, or the state election commission. And then after that, we got Bruce Griffey and Tim Wergo, and we started going through them. But we've always come from our party with the names.
No.
Yes.
No,
How did she get appointed?
I don't know. That was before
No,
my
ask
time.
her. Ask her.
But I will tell you that since I have been on the county executive board, I was officer for 4 years, and I was been on there since then
You
as
have
the
to go to
state.
the meetings to know if they're recommending or not.
I have been to every meeting except for the last 2 years, and I have been broke up.
Except the
You
last
know?
2 years.
Yep. And yes, I was the culprit that started this, and I would say that help me out here, Mark. The Republican representative down in Jackson,
Jimmy Wallace.
Jimmy Wallace, I went to him and talked to him, and he told me specifically that they consulted with the representatives, or not representatives, the legislature. And I asked, well, what do you do when they don't agree? He says, we'll take the senior one. That's exactly what they done. That's not what Bruce Griffey said.
That's not what they told Bruce Griffey. They said that they would not make a change if they could make up their minds to come together.
And
that they would leave the members as is.
And the law states that they will consult with the legislative body, not that they will follow their recommendation. The state has the full authority to appoint anyone they want
Hey,
in this position.
go ahead and tell them, why do you want to get rid of me?
Because you was up here on Court Square on a petition that was gonna come up.
That's a lie.
It's time, Gary. It's time.
Oh, he's time to get out. But I'm the big culprit. It's not Mr. Lashley, and it's me.
Y'all, we've been respectful people most of this day, and I would appreciate everybody staying respectful. I would. I don't know more yet on this stuff. She's the chair, she's the boss, but I just make a motion to adjourn if we're gonna fight. I'm not doing it. I don't tolerate it, and I'm not doing it. Go ahead.
Is there any other business or anyone else that wants to speak?
I will.
Come on up, sir.
Just please remember to stay on top.
You're not, I know who you are.
My name is Chris Herring. I've lived in this town all but 10 years, and I'm 57 years old, and I'm in the 3rd district, if you want to write that down. He's my relative. he can't get along with anybody. He can't get along with his own brothers. So, he likes to stir stuff. I grew up with you, riding school bus. I believe you're an honorable man, just like I do him. I don't know the process where y'all, and I grew up with you. But I think you ran as a Democrat a lot in the past, or an independent.
Independent.
But now.
Commissioners don't have to declare a party.
I understand. I just don't see why all of this started. If you can show me any thread of evidence, and by the way, I'm a retired police officer, so I understand the process. You show me any shred of evidence of wrongdoing at the election commission, then we'll talk. Otherwise, other than him and Mr. Plant, how many people come up against him?
I've got a stack of paperwork here.
I understand. Why aren't they here?
Sorry?
Why aren't they here?
I'll tell you why, because they made that up to give these guys a few hours before this meeting. So there's no way I can even read through 38 or 40 pages of stuff sent from the state. They're not here to represent themselves. They give it to them to sway the way they're going to vote tonight, or if they're going to vote tonight. It's just a bunch of bull.
And I understand.
Okay, with all due respect, okay, these that I got, they emailed you today because it's addressed to you.
They did email me today. Today, the day that they're gonna vote on keeping me as administrator or not. All that stuff that's in there is.
If you were in a real court, you would request a continuance to be able to review the things that you've been accused of.
He hasn't been accused of anything, Chris.
He hasn't been accused of anything, and I don't understand.
What is that stat?
Yeah, but nobody here has accused you. I mean, they give,
I'm not
somebody else has said to you, accused you to you. Send us a copy.
I'm not saying that y'all accused you.
Okay.
No,
I want to make sure that was clear. We
I'm
never
talking
accused you
about
of anything.
this.
Why aren't they here? So they have to stand up in front. It's like social media. You have people all the time, they fight back and forth because they don't have to look like that.
My biggest question is, all this stuff is they went back in their memory as far back as they can. If there was a real problem, I've run that office for 12 years. They've never said a word about any problems whatsoever all the way through the whole 12 years. Just the day that they're wanting to try to get rid of me, they come up with 36 or 38 pages of stuff to throw on these poor guys that have walked into something that they don't really know what they're getting in the middle of. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
They're just being used.
I understand the politics and such.
Okay.
The man running an honest election, I mean, people who got beat have told you to run an honest election. They have no qualm at all. Why's your job?
Have you heard anybody on this committee?
No, but you're going to be the one to vote.
The purpose of this meeting was a reorganization meeting to elect our officers. We couldn't even
understand.
elect a secretary because the Democrats resigned, okay? And to open the floor to the public and any other business, okay? We haven't even had a chance. I just got this book from the state Monday, okay? All right? I wanted us to set our next meeting and look at this, and let's study the law and understand what we're dealing with. That's it. And then this rumor mill, oh, we're going to fire the election administrator. And this outcry of people, you know.
Well, you got rid of a commissioner.
I didn't get rid of any.
This process that went behind the scenes.
Okay, their terms had expired. Their terms had expired. Okay, so I didn't get rid of anybody.
I didn't say you did.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, Mark, I can't help it that all 5 of them expired the same time.
No, they always expire for 2 years. Yours will expire in 2 years.
Right, but
But they
I,
normally reappoint you unless there's been a problem.
okay.
You normally get reappointed and stay on. But that didn't happen this time because of the process with Mr. Key.
My question is, you said the state called.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is the state?
Donna Barrett.
She been paid by this county?
I have no idea because I haven't been coming to commission meetings with Cody.
Say she has a consulting firm.
Well, I
That's
don't
been
know
hired
about,
by Brett Lashley.
Excuse me.
I don't know.
Donna Barrett actually came onto the payroll of Benton County under the tenure of Mayor Barry Barnett.
But still.
Okay,
it's
so
being
she works
held.
for the county
I understand.
under the vote of the county commission,
I understand that.
okay?
But
Which
is
is
she
not.
on the payroll of the county?
I'm not
Yes or no?
saying that. I'm saying that she is not an employee
I
of
didn't
Brett
say she's an
Lashley
employee.
or
I said she
Barry.
owns a consulting firm.
She does get paid by the county, but let's
Yes,
be
she
very
does.
clear that she is not the employee. She's not bossed around
I
by
didn't-
Brett Lashley,
I didn't
which has
say
been
she was.
indicated by a number of different
But
people
does-
here tonight.
But does she draw an income from this county?
Her firm does get income from this county.
But she's also one of the state election, she's
I
on the
understand
state
that, but
election
have
commission.
you ever heard anyone abstaining due to?
Okay, I think it was established at the beginning of Mr. Griffey that we were put on your list, so I think we need to stop this.
Absolutely, and I've abstained as a county commissioner. Absolutely.
We're at time though, we're past 5 minutes, and that's been early.
Don't you think she should?
Okay.
You got your back, sir.
Appreciate you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see, I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to talk because I don't want to cry, but I want to on the tyranny statement. I put that at the end of Mark's article because I have been teaching in American history how that people in higher offices throughout our government have wielded a way to get their choice of what they want. And it just came to me when we were talking about what he wanted to put in the paper that I wanted to say at the end, in the tyranny. I don't even think I asked Mark about that.
I beg your pardon, but what's your name?
Lori Ward.
Thank you.
It's not second district.
So I do want to own that statement, and I do want to tell you that it was not directed toward Debbie, it was not directed toward Janet, it was not directed toward Mr. Ragsdale, it was directed to the whole concept of the way that this has happened, because it does feel very questionable for us. I know how hard Mark works. I know that he comes home from work, he puts on work clothes, he goes back and works, he works all weekend. So anybody that tells you that he is doing anything that is less than the highest bar, they're telling you wrong. Because I know, I live with him. I'm sorry.
Ma'am, we never took that, at least I didn't. It was perfectly clear what your tyranny statement was about in your paper. Never took it any wrong way, so you're good.
I want to make a statement that I do not agree with anybody threatening any of you. You are just people. You're doing what you have been told. And we understand that.
We're trying to follow the law, not what we've been told.
Okay. All right. I respect that as well. I'm just saying, I don't want anybody to threaten you. That is not the whole purpose of any of this. The purpose is getting down to what is right and to follow the law and to keep everything above the bar like it has been. And that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? I want to give everybody the opportunity. Anyone? Okay. It is now 20 till 7. That clock is accurate. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Okay. I I will entertain, if there's any other business, if y'all have any questions that y'all would like to ask. Do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I don't think we should address anything with this till we have the proper, till everybody's here, the Democrats are represented and so forth. So therefore, I move we adjourn.
Okay. Okay, a roll call vote, please.
Russell Radford, Stan Hicken, yes. Debbie Powell.
Yes. And I would like to ask every one of you, I would like to tell you, I appreciate you coming, you know, and I respect each one of you. And I just want us to conduct ourselves in a respectful way. Okay? I appreciate all the comments. Thank you for showing up. I want to thank the officers for coming, the sheriff for making sure we have proper security. I appreciate each one of you very much. I know a lot of you are on overtime and a lot of you have been in court today. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the state troopers. Okay? So thank you, and I hope y'all all have a safe return home. All righty? And we will post our next meeting as soon as we find out when we have a full board. Okay? Thank you. We stand adjourned.